Okay, it looks like we are officially recording for our virtual Virgo new moon circle. Happy Sunday evening. It is actually Sunday, September 1st here in North America, and we're meeting tonight on the last day of this Leo ruled lunar cycle, also known as the balsamic moon, to officially let go and release anything that we need to let go of, anything that's maybe blocking our full potential of our energetic flow. We're releasing anything maybe physically in the body that's causing us tension or dis-ease. We're using this last night of the lunar cycle to also get very focused for these next 4 weeks ahead. So this is not only a new moon tonight, but it's also known as a micro moon or a mini moon. And we've talked a lot about super moons in the past. And by the way, the next moon is a super moon. But this moon is the farthest away that it could possibly be right now. And this creates a less impactful energy than usual on the new moon. Now, that's not to say that we're not feeling new moon like things right now. We might feel tired. We might feel just kind of like heavy. I've been very sleepy the past few days, and today I'm finally feeling a little bit recharged and re energized. With that being said, I had a really good night's rest last night, but we might be feeling this sensation to slow down or turn more within or not do as much. And that's because we have a lot of pressure from other planets right now. So tonight, not only will we talk about this new mini moon or micro moon in Virgo, we're also going to talk about Mercury still in its retrograde post shadow. Even though it's direct, it's still lingering in a little bit of retrograde energy. We'll also talk about Venus currently in Libra. We'll talk about Neptune retrograde. We'll talk about Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, Chiron retrograde. We'll touch base on Virgo season and Virgo energy as a whole. We'll also go over to the Vedic astrology of this moon being in Purva Palguni Nakshatra. And from the Eastern perspective, this moon is still in the constellation of Leo. So we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight as well. Before we officially drop in, I would like to come together and just take some deep breaths. Help us really drop in, slow down, connect to that apana energy, which is the energy of the exhale. It's the energy of the Earth's gravity. It is the energy of the new moon. Let's connect to that now. Whenever you're ready, find your supportive posture. Find a nice aligned spine. Whether you're seated, standing, wherever you are, create a hollow channel for your breath to move fully down into those deeper, lower parts of your body, more of the root chakra and sacral chakra spaces, places that we're going to talk a lot about tonight. Whenever you're ready, take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Maybe just loosening up at the bottom, shaking out, just returning to normal breathing for a moment. I'm actually feeling the need to clear my throat. Do that one more time. Virgo actually rules the throat chakra, so I'm not surprised, as well as Mercury. But let's do this again when you get a chance. Deep breath in through the nose. Maybe sip in and leave it even more at the top, right? And then exhale, let it all go, maybe with some vibration, noise, sound, like a big sigh. Again, loosening up, shaking things out, grounding more in. And on this last one, if you'd like to join me, we'll reach all the way overhead, really taking a nice deep stretch, a big reach, maybe grabbing in even more prana, even more inhale, letting it all go. and committing to being here now for the next hour or so. By the way, if you are catching the recording of this circle, I just want to take a moment to introduce myself and welcome you in. My name is Vina Linney Rachel. I am a moon priestess, an intuitive. My spiritual name, Vina, means channeler of the divine, and I have been channeling these moon circles for quite a few years now. I think about 8 years at this point. And I love to come to you every 2 weeks, as much as I can with my schedule, to share more about the moon and its energy. I have been personally working with the moon for over a decade. I revolve my entire life around the moon, how I raise my son, how I educate my son and myself, how I interact with my husband, how I upkeep my household, how I run my business, pretty much how I navigate every single day. It's going to come down to something with the moon. And over this past 10, 11 years, I've also gone further by studying more about astrology. Now, I've been an avid learner of the stars and the cosmos my entire life. I have been obsessed with the stars since a very young child. But in my adult life, I have worked with the stars professionally through natal chart readings, giving people astrological guidance, and also just helping you understand more about the planets and the stars and how we relate to them. So, welcome into the circle tonight. And of course, if you are here live in our 13 Moons membership, welcome in tonight as well. Happy new moon to all of you. We will be spending this next hour discussing all that I mentioned before. And if you are live, we will also be doing our magical practice together for this moon involving a calendar. So if you have your calendars tonight, moon members, just make sure that you have those handy, that you've got something to write with. I actually have several different versions. I have 3 different versions of a calendar. I have your good old wall calendar here, like your typical calendar that you would hang up. I also have a day planner here, and it's a blank one, so it's not marked month by month. You get to fill it in, and my Venus and Virgo side is really jazzed about this. I got this at Walgreens, by the way, and it says plans in perfect Virgo alignment. But the weeks are blank, the months are blank, and they even give you stickers, so it can be really nice and pretty if you don't want to write it in. And another version of my calendar tonight is just this little pocket planner. And this is so I can take my dreams on the go as a constant reminder. I can put this in my little bag that I take to work. I could keep this in my car. I could put it on my work desk. I can stick it on my manifestation altar. I could sleep with this under my pillow. It's very flat, thin. I could probably slide it in the pillowcase even, and it would be fine. Really sleep on my dream, so to say. But there are multiple calendars that you can have, and you could always go back after this transmission and go buy a different calendar if you get inspired to do so. But if you are here live, make sure that you have your calendars tonight. And if you are not here live and you're catching the recording, I want to mention that it is not too late to join 13 Moons. You can join at any time. There is a free trial. You can choose a monthly, 6-month, or yearly membership. And with that membership, you get the recordings in full of these moon circles, so you can catch these magical practices that we do that I don't share in my public recording, but I do share with my members in the circle with their recording. So if you'd like to learn more about this calendar exercise, maybe join us, become a member, and join us in future moon circles and learn more magic to come. Let's drop in, as we usually do, by bringing in the 5 elements. And Virgo energy is very related to the earth. They are an earth sign, and we're using these tools that are specific to our earthly planet. I always like to start with gemstones or crystals to work with, or other earthly tools. And I want to start by saying you might want to bring in some cinnamon into your life right now. Not only because cinnamon accelerates you towards your dreams and the manifestation of them coming true, but but also it is the first of the month. And this new moon in Virgo, an earth sign, auspiciously falls on the second day of the month. And the first day of the month traditionally is a great time to utilize cinnamon for prosperity, good fortune, and abundance. You can go to your front door and you can blow cinnamon in your door. You could also take a little bit of cinnamon and take a quarter or a coin of any sort. Maybe, I used to live in Canada, so maybe take a loonie or a toonie, or maybe you have some other coin, but you slide that underneath your doormat if you have one of those, or maybe a little pot around the front of your door. You sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on that, right? And you take that quarter and take the quarter away and keep it somewhere, like on your altar, in your pocket, in your car. Let yourself be reminded of that prosperity that you set forward at the front of your door. I'm thinking about taking cinnamon and blowing it into my car and sprinkling myself with it, and putting it in the diffusers and blowing it into the studio, and maybe even laying some cinnamon sticks around, or maybe on my altar. But this is a wonderful way to also introduce us into the energy of fall or autumn, which is what Virgo energy helps us to do. This is the last season of summer, the last zodiac sign of summer, and then we'll move into autumn, a transitional time. And autumn is full of those earthy, spicy scents, like your cinnamon, your cassia, your clove. Of course, we have the pumpkins coming in, the apples coming in, and just getting yourself used to that change of pace and change of energy. You can bring more cinnamon into your life. Now, let's move on to the gemstones and the crystals. I'm wearing some of them tonight. You might want to work with goldstone. I'll bring this up to the camera so that you can see it a little bit closer and absorb in the energy. By the way, if you don't have these elements, you're getting the energy of them right now just by tuning into this transmission. See if we can get some of that sparkle to come out. So goldstone is a man-made stone, but a very beautiful stone. It is related to Virgo energy and our ability to manifest something very beautiful into reality. There is also a connection to the solar plexus and the sacral chakra, how creativity can produce more abundance. So if you're working to create more abundance in your life right now, you might work with goldstone. We're also thinking about that abundance mindset because in Vedic astrology, or the Eastern perspective of this moon, it's ruled by Bhaga, Bhaga, which is the deity of abundance, wealth, and happiness. So we want to be connecting to those energies right now, even though we might have a little summertime sadness, even though the energy might be waning with our solar light, we still want to be reminded of all of the potential yet to come. Autumn is a season of planting. You can still plant things, like I know that Lisa, who's on the transmission here, she blessed me with some of her beautiful garlic that she had planted in the autumn. And was it the autumn planting, Lisa? I think it was, that you harvested and gave to me. But I know that you planted a ton of garlic and other things that we can plant. I know another client of mine planted a bunch of tulip bulbs in the fall and was ready to receive a beautiful harvest of tulips to plant in his garden in the spring, which he did. So there is a mindset of still planting and manifesting and thinking about what you want to bring into the next 6 months. And even if you're on the other side of the world, you are moving into actual spring and a time of planting. So maybe some goldstone in your life to remind you to hold on to what is on the other side. Now, I also have turquoise on here. And turquoise is a great stone for healing, for wellness, for generational healing, even. Virgo energy is connected to the womb and the generational energy of our ancestors and our bloodline. So you might want to be working to shift something or change something out of that bloodline with this Virgo new moon. You might want to work to heal something generationally or karmically with this new moon. Saturn is still retrograde right now in the energy of Pisces, which is associated with more of a place where the veil is thin, where we can connect to our guides, our angels, our ancestors. So if you're trying to change something in your inheritance, then this is a great time to start working towards that goal. I also have a mala here devoted to the angels tonight just because I'm feeling that energy. So if you have anything representing angelic energy, you might want to have that with you. I also have some individual stones here. I have bloodstone. Actually, I don't have bloodstone. I meant to have bloodstone here, but I forgot it. Bloodstone is another way that you connect to that Virgo energy, that womb space, the sacral energy. Also reminding you of cyclical energy if you need to be reminded that you are a person that has patterns and you are a creature of habit. Virgo is the cosmic perfectionist. They want everything to be just right. But unfortunately, life is not perfect and not everything is just right. So if you need to embrace a little bit more of the messiness, maybe some bloodstone in your life could help with that. I also have moss agate. Any type of agate right now, I'm wearing several different types on my wrist, but any type of agate is very grounding right now. If you just need to ground in and connect to the energy of the new moon, if you need to slow down, if you need more assistance with rest, conscious rest, meditation, sleep, whatever that is, any type of agate could help. Also, if you're trying to ground in your dreams, moss agate can remind you of that ability to spread across the ground and continue to creep and crawl your way step by step, methodically towards the expansion of your next evolution. Agate in general also helps us to believe that we can be in that open root chakra space where we can really not only conceive our dreams, but birth them into reality. I also have onyx here tonight. Now, onyx is an interesting stone because it's black, but it tends to have kind of these gold lines or crackles in it. And I don't know if you can see those there. That's a good little spot. Onyx is a stone for Leo energy, just as much as moss agate is a stone for Virgo energy. I already mentioned that from the Western perspective or tropical zodiac, this moon is in the sign of Virgo. But from the Eastern perspective or Vedic astrology or sidereal perspective, this moon is in the constellation of Leo in Purva Palguni Nakshatra. So whether you're trying to embrace Leo energy or Virgo energy, you could choose your stone, or maybe you just bring both into your lunar portal right now. Leo energy reminds us to be royal and regal, to rule our life with more of an alpha energy. And this isn't to be very, lingoed with the alpha and the sigma and all of that. But I do think it's hilarious that alpha energy is really strong right now. And that really got popular this summer as Leo energy ruled the cosmos. Leo is still ruling very strongly, not only from the Eastern perspective, but also because we have Mercury in Leo. Right now, as we meet on this last day of the lunar cycle, it began with a new moon in Leo. So we still have this Leo energy hanging on right now, reminding us to take charge of our life, to have a balance between the hunt after our goals, the play, the rest. There's a tendency to party and enjoy life out of Leo energy. And this is a time to be more blissful, be out of more of our sacral chakra. But there is also a reminder to be very Venusian, very sovereign, very whole to ourselves, very pure, very intentional with our energy. So I do think having the mix of both an agate and the onyx could be useful right now. If you don't have onyx for Leo energy, carnelian's another great one to work with. Lapis lazuli is the final crystal I would suggest working with right now, or some people say lapis lazuli, potato, whatever you want to call it. This beautiful blue and white stone that sometimes has speckles of pyrite in it. Fool's gold, which is connected to our solar plexus and our ability to manifest. But lapis is connected to the throat chakra. Mercury rules Virgo energy, and Mercury is still in its post retrograde shadow until September 11th. Typically, this is a time when we navigate more of the throat imbalances, ear, nose, and throat physically. So you might have sinuses. We all have sinuses. You might have sinus issues. You might have allergies. You might just feel a little clogged up. You might not be listening appropriately either to your spirit guides, your ancestors, or whatever's trying to speak to you from the other side of the veil. You might also not be very attentive in conversations or paying attention if you need to open your ears up in that way. Maybe you're not breathing very deeply. You're not relaxing. You're not moving into that parasympathetic nervous system state that can only be achieved by breathing your diaphragm into the lower regions of your body. Whatever it is that you need to open around the throat chakra, lapis can be really useful for that. Also, your throat chakra is related to your thymus, which is connected to your overall wellness, your thyroid as well. If you have issues with the thyroid or the parathyroid, you might want to work with lapis in general. But if you're just trying to have more balance with your wellness and achieve optimal health, then anything involved with the throat chakra and opening up that space can be useful, especially right now. Not only is Virgo ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication and expression associated with throat chakra, Vishuddhi, but there is also this connection to Chiron in the more modern day perspective. And Chiron is an asteroid in astrology that is known as the wounded healer. It represents our wounds, our triggers, our traumas, our sensitivities. And right now, with Mercury in fiery Leo, alpha ruled Leo, there can still be some triggers. Before I hit the record button here, I was laughing with some of you because the window was cracked a little bit more, and I was hearing a little bit of a fight take hold outside, a vocal fight. And I thought, oh gosh, we don't need this in the background of our moon circle. So yeah, there's like a triggering energy right now. So we do want to be a little bit more mindful and a little bit more careful. And we might need to just kind of slow down, breathe, pay attention to things before we respond or react. As I clear my throat, could feel that coming. By the way, I also taught infrared yoga like an hour and a half ago, and the infrared is always good for clearing out the sinuses if you need to connect to that. Finally, not a particular crystal, but I have a crystal skull in our transmission tonight because this helps us to ease the anxieties of our mind, the vrittis, the tornadic thoughts that cause destruction. That's what we call them in yoga. But this Chiron energy related to our traumas, our triggers, that's typically stuff associated with the past that fuels our perspective into the anxieties of our future. And when we have Chiron currently retrograde, like it is, we might be turning within and having more of those memories, triggers, sensitivities rise up. So crystal skulls, they enhance your logic. They help you to move out of the vripties of your mind and ground back in to the logic of your brain, this earthly human experience, becoming very present, remembering that everything is its own circumstance, really using philosophy to guide your way, maybe opening up that third eye and that crown chakra to really listen to anything that's coming down to you from source energy, your ancestors, your guides, your guardians. So if you need any of that right now, and you probably do over the next few weeks, maybe go find a crystal skull or get one of these in your life. These are a lot of fun to work with. So we've talked about all of our earth energy. I also want to bring in one more aspect of earth, and that is a sage smudging stick. This is just your good old white sage, and I am going to combine that with our second element, fire, to start to create our third element, which is wind, otherwise known as air, and otherwise known as smoke. Smudging sticks create a sacred smoke. Sage is very purifying, very cleansing, and Virgo energy is related to purity, cleanliness, wholesomeness. So that's starting to really light on fire now, and it'll eventually burn out. Here we go. And by the way, I do have a little abalone shell to catch all of this flame. So I'm just going to take a moment to let that smoke travel. And I do have the window cracked, so it will go out with any other energy it needs to carry. It's just kind of going up right now to the ceiling. I'm going to take that around me in a clockwise direction. I'm also going to take that to you and the technology I'm using to connect to you in a clockwise direction. Let a little bit of that smoke just be received to you. And we will just let it burn until it burns out. This is the way I always do it. And I have been cleaning a lot lately, so I don't mind giving my bedroom a nice smudge tonight, especially with the window open. I don't expect it to burn super long, but you never know. So I'm just going to let that continue to burn as long as it needs to purify the energy. There was a time that I did moon circle recently, and it burned practically the whole time. So I don't know what was going on, but we must have really needed to clear the air. And it is going out the window right now, so it probably needs to cleanse that energy out there where that altercation took place amongst my neighbors. So we're just going to bring in a little bit more peace, a little bit more cleansing. By the way, for the sake of purity and the theme of things with Virgo, my sage is always sourced ethically, sourced from a good place, sourced ecologically. I would never take off sacred land or tribal land. I would never source from a place that wasn't authentic with good intentions from the heart. I always get my smudging materials from good places. And I do really encourage you to look into where you source your stuff to do the same. Now, as that continues to burn, I'm also going to bring in some essential oils. Speaking of purity, I have some very pure therapeutic grade essential oils here to use for spiritual practice or physical wellness or whatever I am looking for to clear the energy. I have Spanish sage here. So if you're a person that cannot burn things, if you can't have that sacred smoke be produced, then you can always go with a little bit of Spanish sage or sage oil. You could make a sage tincture with this, you could make a sage tincture with the plant and alcohol and water, but you could also take your Spanish sage or sage essential oil and mix this in about a 1 to 10 dilution. So you're going to have maybe 30 drops in a 10 milliliter spray bottle, and combine that with water and a little bit of witch hazel or isopropyl alcohol. And that's going to give you a smudging spray that you can spritz around, and you're still getting those energetic properties of the sage to cleanse and purify any negative energy and help you to reset the mood or the frequency around you. Now, if you're trying to reset your frequency within, maybe you're trying to shift a habit right now. Maybe you're trying to break some sort of addiction. I mentioned that Leo energy loves to party. They are a fire energy and they tend to burn, burn, burn. And fire tends to only increase, right? If you need to shift direction right now, create a new habit, break an addiction, really change your energy, I would suggest working with peppercorn or pink pepper essential oil. Now, of course, you could just work with ground peppercorns and spice those up around you and take in a little bit of that. It's going to make you sneeze. So that's why the oil might be a little bit more useful. Not to say it won't make you sneeze either, but you can put maybe 1 drop of this in your diffuser and just let that go into the air. And you can breathe that in you don't even really need to take the lid off. You can just breathe it right from the bottle, but if you needed more, you could take the lid off. Also, you could use like 1 drop in a massage oil, and I'm talking a full batch of massage oil. You only need like 1 to 3 drops in it because it is a hot oil, but it will help if you want to get it physically on the body and just connect deeper to the properties of the peppercorn. Now, maybe you're trying to develop more spiritual practice or ritual. Maybe you're trying to have more ceremony in your life. Virgo energy is connected to the spiritual path, and Tulsi or holy basil is another great essential oil to work with. Throwing it in the diffuser, smelling it from the bottle, it is going to encourage you to fall into your spiritual practices and not skip them. I am wearing 2 different forms of Tulsi tonight. Speaking of the earth elements earlier, I have a black Tulsi and I have a regular Tulsi. The regular one came from India while I was there. Black Tulsi I bought locally, but both of these are woods of protection, and the oil is the same way. It's very protective. It helps you to create sacred space so that you can fall into your spiritual practices. It may also clear the air of any negativity, similar to that Spanish sage, to help you ground in more. Finally, I would suggest working with geranium if you are working on fertility. And I'm talking about the real deal fertility because that might be happening right now. This new moon in Virgo, now Virgo is the sign of the virgin. The cosmic virgin is where that word Virgo came from. And of course, that tends to be related to sexual chastity, but it used to mean one who was whole unto themselves. Now, on the eastern side of the world in Vedic astrology, this new moon is in a lunar mansion that is symbolized by a ripened fruit or a wedding bed or the front legs of the bed, the beginnings of what is created in the bed. And then later on, we'll have another nakshatra that represents the foot of the bed, which is more, it's about like the birthing portal or that actual end of the pregnancy process. If you are trying to get pregnant right now, geranium is a wonderful oil to enhance your fertility. But also, if you're trying to conceive anything into the world and you want to enhance fertility around it, then you might want to work with geranium. If you want a little less intense oil in the world of fertility, you could also consider green mandarin or any of the mandarin oils. Those are associated with fortune, good luck, abundance, especially around new beginnings. We're in a new moon at the beginning of a new month. So this is a good time to think about what we want to start fresh with, the energy that we want to start fresh with, and really believing that we are fortunate as we work towards our dreams. The smudging smoke is still going, by the way. I don't know what it is about this particular smudging stick, but it just wants to burn right now. I don't suspect it's going to burn much longer. It's burned out on one side, but just a news flash because I can smell the smoke going strong right now. So, yeah, I guess we needed to purify the outdoor energy just a little bit more. So, in addition to the essential oils for water energy, you can also connect to any sort of watery beverage. Of course, it's always good to drink new waters around a new moon just to help cleanse you, purify you, flush out your energy. Also, this Virgo new moon is connected to the small intestine, and in Vedic astrology, it's connected to the thighs, which are related with elimination. So, either way, we are encouraged to flush, detox, and eliminate, cleanse out, reset right now. Water is a great way to do that. Also, you might want to get a little vitamin C in your life. I'm having a lotus drink today, but it's got some vitamin C in it. It's got an orange juice topper. I threw in some extra vitamin C, and I'm just giving myself a little power drink tonight because I know that the allergies are really hitting me right now. My sinuses have been challenged. I was born in a Mercury retrograde post shadow, so it's always see, got the throat thing. It's always a time when I get a little imbalanced in my throat chakra, and I tend to have some problems physically with my health. So I am in the spirit of Virgo season, tending to the earthly body and my overall wellness and my throat chakra. I'm just drinking a whole lot of vitamin C right now, and I would suggest that you do the same. Moving away from our earth, we've had fire, we've had wind, we've had water. Our fifth element is the ether. It is the space that we are connecting to, that we are with right now. It is where we find ourselves digitally connecting and meeting up, whether you're meeting with me live right now or in the recording. This is a magical space that moves beyond time, beyond the dimensions of physical 2D limitations. We take in the energy of the smudging smoke that's, still just kind of trailing around, these oils, these crystals, all of this energy that we're about to call in with the guides and guardians. All of it is just as effective now as it will be in the future. And that's why I love using the ether to connect. There will be more and more people that connect to this transmission over the time that it is here, whether it be because we have all of these people in our membership that are catching the recordings, or we have people tuning in the other places I offer the recordings. So we welcome in the ether space. It is a space and place where we get all of those messages as well, and it helps us to really connect to something beyond this world and beyond ourselves, whatever we want to call it. So I am going to take a moment now to bring in the guides and guardians of these 5 directions, really creating more sacredness in our circle. And I'm actually going to leave these guides and guardians with us throughout our circle. I won't do a closing to dismiss them tonight. We'll just let them be here. And I promise you, whoever needs to leave will leave. Okay. So I'm actually going to take my smudging stick, since it's got just the tiniest bit of smoke still working to come out of it. And one more time, I will come into a circle, this time in the counterclockwise direction. And I want to take a moment first to bring in the guides and guardians of the sacred smoke, the air, and the east. The reminder that we have the dawn of a new day, the direction where the sun rises and gives us a new chance. We also know that everything rises east to west when it is moving direct. And so we welcome in this forward motion energy as we bring in the element of air and the guides and guardians of this air tonight. Thank you for being in our circle and being with us as long as we need you throughout this lunar cycle. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the south with their element of fire, burning strongly with the Leo energy present, reminding us that we always have the ability to make change, that we can connect to the fires of our desires and let them drive us towards the reality of it all coming true. We also trust in the fire that we use now to bring in more joy and ignite the energies of our Manipura solar plexus. We thank the guides and guardians of the South with their fire for being in our circle tonight and continuing to be with us as long as we need. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the West with their element of water, always impacting a new moon, and also really elevated with this Virgo energy, connecting us to our sacral chakra, the internal waters, the womb space of creativity and conception. We also trust in the waters of time that might be pressing us to be a little patient right now as Mercury works to officially move direct and out of its post shadow as we move into our next season. And remember that there is always time to create. We trust in that oceanic creative vortex of water and the guides and guardians that rule over it. We thank you for being in our circle tonight and for as long as we need throughout this lunar cycle. We also invite in the guides and guardians of the North with their element of earth, the energy of our ancestors that we invite in now, along with all of the magic of the actual planet Earth, the crystals, the gemstones, the fruits, flowers, trees, plants that we harvest the oils from, the chemical elements that combine to create the fire and the sacred smoke, the beautiful waters of creation. We invite all of it in now, and we trust in this earthly energy to ground us under an earth ruled Virgo moon. We thank these guides and guardians with their element for being present in our circle tonight and with us for as long as we need. Finally, we bring in and invite in the guides and guardians of the ether, the fifth element, source energy, the Akash, all that ever was, all that ever will be, whatever we want to label it. We bring in its energies, its messages. We trust in the divine timing of what arrives to us. And we continue to hold the energy of these guides and guardians with their ether as we navigate this lunar cycle ahead. With that, we have even more sacred space to work with. And I know we've been here for quite some time right now. So let's drop in a little bit deeper before we do our tarot reading for tonight, which will come, by the way, for those that are live after our calendar exercise. But for now, let's talk about the cosmos. Let's talk about Venus energy, because Venus rules the moon from the Eastern perspective. Now, from Vedic astrology's point of view, this moon is in Purva Palguni Nakshatra. I've already mentioned that it's represented by a wedding bed. It can also be represented by a hammock. There is a rule of Venus coming in. There's a symbology of a bowl of ripened fruit. There is this initiation to step into our pleasure, our creativity, more of a yin state, a rest state, a state of ease and trust and magic. And the planet of Venus rules Purva Palguni, along with Bhaga, that deity of wealth, happiness, and abundance. So this is a really beautiful time to really slow down, turn within, and be in that more state of conscious rest so that we can really create, so that we feel more balanced, so that we feel more nourished, so that we just feel good overall. Venus is in Libra from the Western perspective, and this is an ideal placement. Each rule the other. This also causes us to want to beautify our life and to connect to our sacral chakra even more. We might feel a strong, fertile energy right now. I've been feeling very creative lately. I can't wait to announce all of the things to you, but they are all coming and I'm super excited about it. I also feel a strong need to bring things forth out of my mind and out of the magic of my womb space into earthly reality. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now in my own little oceanic creative vortex. But know that Venus is in Libra, helping promote this energy to make things happen. And we also have a bit of an ability to create a stronger relationship with ourself, our inner self, our spiritual self, and everything that it wants to bring through in this particular lifetime. When we have Venus in Libra, we also are prone to more justice and fairness. Libra rules relationships. Don't be surprised if this lunar cycle encourages you to make change with those that you exchange energy with, or there might still be some resurrection of past relationships showing up just because Mercury is still lingering a little bit with its retrograde. Now, I've already mentioned that Saturn is retrograde right now, but it is also currently retrograde in Pisces with Neptune. And Neptune in Pisces is another ideal alignment. Now, a little bit different when Neptune is in retrograde. When it's direct in Pisces, it encourages us to move towards our dreams. It makes us want to maybe be a little bit more in a dreamlike or romantic state. When it is retrograde, this planet encourages us to take a little bit of a step back and really look at our dreams. Make sure that what we are trying to conceive is really what we desire. Mercury is the trickster planet. Because it is not fully direct until September 11th, we might have ideas, dreams, things come through. I'm a little tongue twisted in the energy of Mercury. But we might have things come through and we might not be using that logic of our mind. We might just get really excited and it might be something that makes us feel elated or makes us feel pleasurable or feel good, or maybe we start to see some dollar signs creep in, but it might not be what we truly want. So make sure that you pay attention to the choices you make right now, because Saturn is the planet of karma. And when it's retrograding in Pisces, the sign of the dreamer, the sign of the illusionist, the sign of the delulu a little bit, because Neptune is retrograde, we have to be careful about how we navigate the future and the crossroads and the opportunities and choices that come our way. I'm going to clear my throat. The sage is done burning. My air conditioner is blowing, filtering the air out the window, but I got to clear my throat from the sage smoke, and then I'm going to grab a quick drink. Feel free to join me if you want to hydrate. Apologies for all the throat clearing tonight, I guess, because I don't know why. I think it's funny in my yoga classes when people like pop a lot. I have a couple of people that just have really loud joints that pop a lot in practice, and maybe we'll do like some wrist or ankle rolls or neck rolls, and they're going crack pop and it's really loud, and they always go, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I'm always like, "Why are you sorry? Like, that's what you're meant to do here, is open up." So I guess in the spirit of opening my throat chakra and having our first moon circle after taking a month off, maybe I'm just opening up my throat chakra a little bit more. All right. Feeling a little bit better there. So we've talked about Venus. We have talked about Mercury. We've talked about Jupiter and Neptune and Saturn. And let's talk about Pluto. I don't think we talked about Jupiter, but we don't really need to right now. Pluto is retrograde. And Pluto is another planet related to kind of karma, power, control, the underworld. So again, we are given an opportunity to really seize the reins on our life, to make the decisions that are best for ourselves without external pressure pushing us one way or another. So if you come across opportunities in this lunar cycle over the next 4 weeks, navigate them very mindfully. I think it's hilarious that the word demure became very popular all of a sudden in the beginning of Virgo season. But we do need to be mindful, because this lunar cycle will bring us into eclipse season. We have eclipses on the rise, and in fact, our next full moon will be a partial lunar eclipse. Guess what sign? Pisces, that Delulu sign. So we have to prepare for it right now. We have to get ready for the energy, and we have to navigate things with a lot of logic and presence in everything that we do. Also want to pay attention to this lunar cycle, because on the 6th of September, as we move into the 4th day of this lunar cycle, we will find ourselves with a waxing crescent moon that represents Ganesha's birthday in Hindu tradition, also known as Ganesh or Ganesha Chaturthi. This is a Hindu celebration of the elephant-headed deity who is the remover of obstacles. And eclipses are also removers of obstacles in a very intense, quick, fast forward way. They give you a quick reset. And we're going to get a little bit of a quicker reset with the partial lunar eclipse in Pisces, but definitely with the full lunar eclipse coming up in, or sorry, full lunar eclipse coming up. My goodness, full solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. I can't get it right. But the Libra energy that's coming is also bringing eclipses, and we have to be prepared for that. So Ganesh Chaturthi clears away energy, and maybe you need that. And if you do, get out underneath that moon, look at that moon, absorb in the energy of that moon, put out some water under that moon and drink it the next day. But if you don't want a reset or a clearing out of the progress that you're working towards right now, and Virgo is very methodical, you might have already, since the beginning of Virgo season on the 22nd, been making steps towards your goals. If you don't want to wipe that away, then stay inside on the night of the 6th. Don't open the curtains. Don't look at the moon. Don't gaze at it. Don't be under it, because it is considered auspicious to be under the crescent moon of Ganesha Chaturthi. We've already really discussed the Vedic astrology of this moon, but know that I don't know what is going on outside, if it's fireworks or people banging things around or somebody banging music, or maybe a band is practicing on the high school football field like 8 blocks away. I don't even know if you can hear it, but it's very earthy. It's very earth Virgo energy of drumming and stomping, and very Ganesh energy of stomping and banging around, and very chaotic energy as well. In the spirit of Virgo new moon and Virgo energy wanting to clean up chaos, I think it'll be funny how things settle. I believe it's fireworks going off right now. That's very Leo energy. Okay, so we've talked about the Vedic astrology of this moon being in that Leo energy. It spans from about 13 to 26 degrees of Leo. Purva Palguni Nakshatra. It is a lunar mansion that reminds us to get fertile, get creative, and also believe in the ability to make our dreams come true. Virgo season, on the Western perspective of the world, is going to remind you to clean up the chaos of Leo energy that's been lingering from the peak of summer. You might be wanting to get back into ritual or routine. You might want to start filling out your day planners or your calendars, which we're about to do right now live in the membership. You might just want to start thinking about the steps it takes to get closer towards your goals. You might want to get back more into your hygienic routines, whether they be towards your wellness or towards your spirituality, or just getting back into regular ritual that supports you and supports more of your energetic attunement and harmony. You might want to focus more on your peace as well. Whatever it is, make sure that you set intention towards it with this Virgo new moon, and continue to work with it throughout this Virgo season until we move into Libra season on the 22nd of September. You've got a little bit more time to get yourself structured so that you feel balanced moving in to that sign of the scales. I'm going to grab my charger because I'm getting a little notification that we're running low on battery, and I don't want to run low on battery before we're done. We still have to go over our tarot reading. And actually, I changed my mind in the spirit of spontaneity, Leo. I think I'll do the tarot reading first for the collective, and then we will move into our group time with the membership and do individual card pulls and also do our calendar exercise. But I'm going to grab my charger because I don't want to run out of juice here. And Mercury's tricky right now, still messing with technology, so I'm not going to take that risk. Might have to adjust just a little bit. We'll see. I think it's going to reach, but I might have to change my camera, and I don't know what that's going to do. Oh, hey, it flipped. We're good. All right. So let's take a deep breath together. If you have any questions so far about this moon, feel free to put them in the comments, or just any questions that are coming up. Any comments, anything you want to share, put it in the chat. I will check that in just a moment. Also, if you're tuning into the replay, feel free to leave comments. If you're on YouTube, let me know your thoughts about this moon or how it's impacting you, maybe this Virgo season. I love to respond to those after we have the live transmission. So don't be afraid to put a little comment on those videos as well if you're catching the replay. I'm going to take a deep breath just to ground back in. Get ready for this tarot reading. I've already pulled the cards. I've written about these on my website, by the way. So if you go check things out there, you'll find what I wrote about the cards. But what I say about the cards can be a little bit different. And I want to drop into sharing these cards and their messages now. I pulled 3 cards, past, present, and future guidance for this lunar cycle. Our past card is the 2 of Pentacles. And this is a card that represents prosperous relationships or successful business ventures and partnerships, a coming together of energy, very fused with the masculine and feminine coming together as well. Notice the orange and the yellow, that is sacral and solar plexus coming together with their energy. It's very feminine, masculine, merging to conceive and bring in the pentacles or the dreams coming true. We have been encouraged to maybe do things a little bit more on our own. Virgo season encourages us to be more independent and sovereign. Not to say that we don't need to seek out people to help us, but once we get the gist of it, or once we get the guidance and direction we need to be able to go out on our own. And this was an energy that has already been playing out. This energy happened when we started to move into Virgo season on the 22nd of August. So we now are reminded that we have harmonious relationships that support us. But if we have some that are not supporting our bliss, our creativity, our magic, it is time to make change as well. Remember that Mercury has been retrograde until very recently, and you might have had people pop up from your past. Remember that not everybody that shows up needs to continue with you into your future. And some relationships might need to stick around, but you might need to, rebraid the bond between the two of you. So use this lunar cycle, especially with Venus and Libra, to really focus on your relationships, your energetic exchanges. Make sure everything is fair and just, and seek out those that help you expand towards your bliss and your abundance. For our present card, we have 6 of Cups, and I can't think of a better card to come after this 2 of Pentacles, because the 6 is a number that represents our family, or maybe our supportive community, our tribe, whatever you want to call it. And we have the number 6 also representing a bit of the magic. So we are told to, yes, like find the people that we need to, and also form the bonds with the people that we need to help us find our magic. And when we find that magic and we grow that craft, or we get supported with it, then we do find more bliss, joy, and abundance, and maybe more creative paths. This card, for the first time ever, I've worked with this deck for a very long time. I'm talking like 8, 9 years. But for the first time ever, I looked at this card kind of like a lake or a pool of water with the 6 cups over it, just waiting to get dipped in. We're in a Virgo new moon, which is a time of pause. It's a time of rest. It is a time to slow down and make a plan. But we are just one step or one action away from dipping our cup into the water and filling it up, and 1 cup at a time, continuing to grow that magic and grow that joy and grow all of those feel good feelings. There is the energy of the heart coming through with this pink, and then the blue is the throat chakra, that expression of everything coming out. So right now, as we move into this lunar cycle ruled by Virgo and the throat chakra, we need to make sure that we are in creative flow with our waters, that we are expressing how we feel, and that we are making all of our dreams, desires, and ideas come out into reality as well. It may be as simple as writing it down or speaking it out loud, or just starting to put more intention and focus into it. But when we do that, we will start to see our cups fulfilled. Finally, for our future card, I pulled the 9 of Pentacles. So I started with the 2, the coming together of the energy to conceive, and then the 9-month portal and the birthing time, bringing it all into reality. When we have the 9 of Pentacles, we're reminded of the successes of our ventures. We may be initiated into a new life. It may be a reset. Again, it's also a card that reminds us to be careful what we wish for or what we work towards, because it may not be always quite what it seemed in our mind. So be mindful as you manifest over these next 6 months, and as you navigate this eclipse season coming up. There's going to be a lot of different portals and opportunities for you to create abundance, and you'll likely be supported wherever you go if you believe that you will be. But there will be some opportunities or paths that are more ideal than others. So as you go through these next 4 weeks, and maybe these next 6 months, or maybe these few eclipsed moons, remind yourself to trust in the birthing process. There could be some challenges. There could be some pressure one way or another, but you know internally, in that spirit of that sovereign Virgo self, one who is whole unto themselves, you know the right choice for you. You know where you need to go, and you know what you truly need to manifest when you tap into spirit. So trust this process as we go into the 9th month and the future, the rest of Virgo season, and get ready for all of the excitement that's coming your way ahead. This is what I have for you for the collective from the tarot. I'm going to mix those cards back into the deck now, and I'm going to shuffle the deck as we prepare for our rest of our circle together in the membership. So I just want to take a moment to thank all of you who have tuned in to the recording tonight, who won't be sticking around for the rest of the live because you're not in the membership. But if you want to catch the rest of that full recording, you can always join the membership. There is a free trial, and you can check everything out, including the rest of these cards that I pull later on. Sending you so many blessings before this night is over. Go get some cinnamon, go blow it into your doorway and all the other places you want to bring in cinnamon into your life, and just set your goals towards more bliss, more joy, because once you focus on your joy, everything else falls into place. And that is a lesson that I am living out right now. I've made a lot of changes in the past month, right? And it's all towards the perpetuation of my joy and my bliss in the spirit of setting goals and intentions and very Mercury throat chakra. At the beginning of this year, at the beginning of every year, I don't set New Year's resolutions. I pick a word that I would like to represent the year and the energy that comes about. And my word at the beginning of 2024 was Ananda. It was not just bliss, it was the most original OG version of the word in Sanskrit, Ananda. And Ananda is that just like true bliss that we're trying to achieve. And Ananda was something that I worked to experience on my tantric journey through India in 2017, 7 years ago, when I first went on a deep spiritual journey to become who I am now and be where I am now. So I had to get back to my word over the past few months. And in the spirit of a full blue supermoon in Aquarius, bringing things to light, I realized that I wasn't embodying my word anymore. Not that I wasn't trying to, but it certainly wasn't coming out. And it had been coming through. I had been experiencing so much bliss. And then all of a sudden that was waning. And I realized it was because of some of my energetic exchanges and relationships and some commitments and contracts that I had entered into. And it was time to make that change. And making the change hasn't been easy. I've been detoxing. I've been breaking out. My hands have been itching, which is like an anxious like thing I go through sometimes. I've been very sensitive with my SPD, my sensory processing disorder. My Chiron is probably setting off because Chiron is in Aries in my chart and it's in Aries retrograde right now, but I'm learning things with what I'm navigating right now to help myself prioritize more joy, more bliss, more Ananda. So if you picked a word at the beginning of the year, maybe go back and review that. Think about that. Think about if that's still living out in your year right now, because we still have more time to come. We still have a few more months to work with. And in the spirit of Virgo new moon, we want to get back on track with embodying that word or that energy, that goal, that resolution, that intention, whatever we set for this year. Okay, loves, I appreciate your time, your energy. I am sending you all the best with this lunar portal. Until we meet again, either on Friday the 13th for our magical meetup or on the full moon, September 16th. I want to wish you all of the happiness and bliss and Ananda, all of the wellness and health that you can achieve, all of the peace and safety that you can possibly feel and embody within, and full out love, unconditional agape. Loka somosta sukino bhavantu. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. So it already is. So it mote be. Blessed be to you all. I will see you soon.